an important subject I wanted to broach with you. And I don't use the term broach lightly.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that happened a few weeks ago that I thought was interesting. We were playing, it has to do with the game of Hanabi, which we were playing.
Mm-hmm.
Which if you don't know what Hanabi is, go look it up. I'm not going to explain it here. So,
He's not.
And I know you just played a little Hanabi recently. And this
Yes.
is when we played the deluxe version, which I think we talked about a little bit
Yes.
after we played it. But I ended up having this discussion / argument with
Someone online?
With someone in person, Neil, our friend Neil.
Was I there for this?
You were maybe there for pieces of it. I think
Okay.
you went out to get food. That's why you were playing
yeah,
this.
okay.
But the discussion was, I said that I felt like Hanabi, a lot of the times, I'm not always excited to play it. I think it's a great game. We did a playback on it, so you can see our discussion there. Just because I feel like it is stressful a lot of times to me. There's pressure involved in it, et cetera, et cetera. And then Neil said he didn't think Hanabi was stressful. He said it's a light game, and it's also cooperative, so there's no pressure in terms of PvP or anything like that. So yeah, it kind of had this debate. So I guess I wanted to talk about, I thought it was interesting what some people find stressful in games versus not, and whether or not stress is even a good or a bad thing, because in Hanabi's case, I think it's a good thing. I enjoy the stress in that game, but I don't always want it.
All right, so this is actually really interesting because I
Okay.
actually played Hanabi yesterday because I had some friends over before you came over.
Mm-hmm.
And we played it after because we decided we wanted to play a lighter game. We just played the DC deck building game using the new mode, which we never tried before, in which you have teams, 2 good guys versus 2 bad guys,
Okay.
and mixing the set, which was a lot of fun, though it turned out to pretty much just be a slaughter against the villains.
Okay.
So they're like, we need something, a little bit relaxing. So we chose Hanabi. So
Right.
But I
Okay.
understand where you're coming from, and I think it's because this is very important. There are different forms of stress. And I think depending on who you are and what you're doing, certain stress is good or bad. For example, because it is cooperative, you are not getting that same kind of stress that you get in Battlestar. Like, I cannot take that stress a lot. I mean, I like the game,
Right.
but one betrayal game at a time.
Right.
Otherwise, I can't take it.
Right.
Like, even though
That's about trust.
Right.
With your,
Well, Hanabi
companions.
is more like a puzzle stress, which for me, I have a much larger threshold for.
I think, yeah, for me, what it is, the difference is, in Battle, I definitely agree Battlestar is more stressful.
No, but I mean, like I said, it's a trust stress, which I think,
And part of that is also Battlestar goes on much longer.
yes.
But for me, what it is in Hanabi is the stress comes from disappointing my friends rather than like betraying them, because if I'm a Cylon, then it's like, well, this is my job, I'm a bad guy. In Hanabi, it's if I play the wrong card, I feel like I screwed up so bad. I feel really bad.
I really like this because, like I said, for me, the stress of the trust thing is more, like, let's go with another smaller game that has this issue, more like
The Resistance?
Yes, the Resistance. That is really a bit more stressful for me, in particular when I'm not just a normal guy. Like if I'm Merlin.
Right.
Like, I'm so scared of who's going to be the one to hurt me and backstab me. But Hanabi, so like I said, I like both games, but I probably could play more games of Hanabi than I could of Resistance.
I don't know if this is psychoanalyzing too much, but it's like your I don't want to say fear, your issue is with like being perceived or not perceived as loyal or good, or like being mistrusted for who you are or aren't. And mine is basically, I don't want to look stupid. That's my fear.
Because the thing is, I know in Hanabi we have 3 strikes. So my goal isn't much to make no bad moves, or I don't know if that's right grammatically, without making moves, as much as try to get to that point total. I know there's like a very good chance from playing Hanabi, we're going to end one of those lines. That's usually going to happen. So my goal is as much as try to spread information as possible.
Right. So, and it's more about, you guess you're saying you expect a little bit of failure.
Yes.
Kind of. Yeah.
But it's weird because I feel like the failure isn't anyone's fault. Like if you made a bad move, I mean, unless they're someone who's just really annoying.
Well, sometimes though it is like I know someone told me this, and I'm
Yeah,
not
no, but
sure.
even then, I can understand of like losing. That's one of the reasons I actually like the tile. I feel like it's much harder because you could literally put the 2 tiles,
Right.
and some reason that helped more. I don't know why.
Yeah, it helps me too.
But the difference is in Resistance or Battlestar, if the traitor screwed you up, it's because someone else did it to you. And I think that's why, for me, it's more stressful. And I think this actually shows in our taste in other media. Like, you have a much stronger resistance and liking. It's not that I don't like them. It's just I can't watch some shows where that's maybe a bigger theme. So, no, I think I understand where you're coming from. I think it's just a matter of each kind of person.
And it's very interesting.
But like I said, then there's another form of stress, which we didn't touch on. And this is the one that I do think is neutrally just bad.
Okay.
It's when a game is just poorly made and like it's just hard to do things. I think, and this actually comes to something I read recently.
Go ahead.
And this is where I think it becomes interesting. Game balancing is sometimes in a game. This probably happens more in video games, maybe not as much board games, but you can make it so. I can make it so on your turn, I just counter or stop anything you try to do, so you don't really have a turn. So the stress doesn't come from backstabbing or betraying because you're fighting them. The stress just comes from I'm not playing anymore.
I guess I would say, I guess the kind of stress also in Hanabi is more like tension.
Yes.
Whereas I guess the bad kind that you're talking about is frustration.
Yes.
Yeah, you want suspense. And
No, yeah, I don't think there's nothing wrong with suspense. That's why I think Battlestar is a great game. I think it pulls it directly and thematically beautifully. But at the same time, it's just something that once we play it, I need,
And even, I guess, and you could say, like, Arkham Horror, too, there's stress of that you're all going to lose, potentially.
But you're all working together, so it's more like...
It's different.
However, there is one other frustration. This one, I guess, this does sort of go with the other one, but it's because of its luck. Thinking Arkham Horror, I mean, how many times have you played a game when you just... I keep rolling ones.
Right. Yeah. That can apply to almost any game. That kind of.
Which I think that's why a lot of people. There are certain people who don't like. I have a huge tolerance for random I like the dice roll. Some people have very little tolerance.
But even
for that.
we didn't talk about really just PvP games. I mean, any kind of game has that potential for. Yeah, just like, oh God, what am I gonna do? He's gonna attack me, or I'm gonna try and fail to attack him, or. There's a lot of, it's definitely...
I do think...
And most games, you have to have a little bit of it.
Yeah. There was actually a video I watched a while back. I forget which one it was, so I can't really say the link. But it was from these guys called the Vlog Brothers, and they talk about random topics back and forth. And he was talking about his own, how pretty much his dog was not doing well. It was really sad.
Okay.
But he was talking about how, while some people are able to do a lot more work and do things, it's because everyone has their own different stress level. It's not bad if you couldn't do as much as someone else, and I think that's the thing that we need to look. You need to look at for yourself and with other people. Everyone has their own stress levels for different kinds of stress or games or sadness or happiness, and that's why I think for you when you said Hanabi, Hanabi hits the kind of stress for you that you don't have maybe as high as a tolerance, and that's okay.
We're all special snowflakes.
Well, it's more of once you recognize your tolerance, you can play better.
Right.
Because you can recognize what works better, and if you know other people's tolerance, you'll be like, okay, I really want to play this. So if I know Will doesn't have a high tolerance for backstabbing, I probably shouldn't line up Battlestar, Raku, and this all in a row. So you can plan better to make sure everyone has a better experience.
Sometimes I feel bad too, because I love Hanabi, but if someone mentions it, my gut reaction is, I don't want to feel bad.
That's fine, because that's the thing. That's why
I usually have fun once I play it. It's like jumping into a swimming pool.
Well, no, that's like with me with Battlestar. Like I enjoyed playing it every time, but every time we tend to bring it up as a joke a lot.
Right.
So I'm always like, oh.
I think it's always the more traumatic aspects of something that stick in your brain more. Anyway, let us know where you land on the spectrum.
Yeah.
What games stress you out? What games don't? How do you feel about Hanabi versus the Resistance or anything else? Or if you just have a question in general or a subject you want to hear us discuss, again, you can leave a comment below on YouTube, or you could email us directly at rollforcrit@gmail.com.